Introduction. Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who was an ordinary human like most of us, lived, suffered and died in India for Indians. He was a great political and spiritual leader, not only for India but for the whole human race. It is not in relation to India's destiny alone that his life has significance. We, the present as well as the coming generations, will not only remember him as a patriot, politician and nation builder but much more. British rule had been established in India when Gandhi was born. British had effectively established their roots in this country, that instead of protesting foreign rule, the then generations of well-educated Indians were eager to surrender to their foreign masters. It seemed the British Empire in India was safe for centuries. After earning an English law degree, Gandhi used his ideas of peaceful civil disobedience struggle for civil rights in South Africa. In India, he organized protest against unlawful taxation and extensive discrimination for the poor Indian farmers and laborers. He carried it forward on the national stage to protest oppressive laws made by the British government. His way of making appeal to the then government became a part of lesson to the present generation. While serving the Indian National Congress, Gandhi led the following nationwide campaigns. They were for the betterment of the poor, the liberation of Indian women, brotherhood amongst different communities, end to untouchability, and above all for Swaraj, the complete independence of India. All of his activities were of larger-than-life struggles, but he carried it out in a very heroic way. His main weapon was ahimsa, non-violence. He introduced satyagraha, the resistance of tyranny through mass civil disobedience, which led India to independence. He led Indians in the disobedience of the salt tax through the 400 km Dandi March in 1930. He made an open call for the British to quit India in 1942. His genius was his infinite capacity for taking pains for the causes of others' fulfillment. He climbed step by step, till the time we saw him at the height more than a human. Being a disciple of Hindu philosophy, he lived a simple life by organizing an ashram. He wore the traditional Indian khadi clothes, woven with a charkha, and ate only vegetarian diet. A historical process is not the outcome of a single individual, however great and wonderful he was. A continued succession of remarkable predecessors and contemporaries had laid the foundation stones that helped Gandhi to pave the way for India's independence. The people who had already gained intellectual, social and moral consciousness of the genius helped Gandhi to mobilize and direct a grand march. The shyness of Gandhi was the only extraordinary feature about him as a child. It remained as a handicap from which he suffered for a long time. This extraordinariness became a latent in his spirit. It later developed into an iron will, which combined with a moral sensibility made him what he became. He was a true servant and friend of man as a man. He worked for Indians only because he was born among them. The humiliation and suffering of the Indians supplied the necessary powers to his moral sensibility. When Gandhi died, he left us a free nation with freedom in all aspects. Thousands had recovered their heritage and the millions had found their voice. All had gained a new light in their future to come. All men and women had won a great battle leading to a process of a moral force to compel the attention and the admiration of the world. Rest of the world were there to join with the whole nation with great respect and showed friendliness. The architect of this miracle is none but only Gandhi himself. This story of the miracle is the story of Gandhi's life. His grateful countrymen ever since call him the father of the nation. Commonly Gandhi is known and addressed in India and across the world as Mahatma Gandhi. His principles were still applicable to all, but difficult. Generations to come, it may be, will scarce believe, wrote Einstein, that such a one as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth.